Hey guys, welcome back to the Artist Avenue podcast. I am Luke SpellShaw and I'm joined by
Josh Hayes. Welcome, guys.
Hey guys. It's good to hear from you, or good to hear from you. So that's not the right wording. I can't hear a word that anybody else is saying. How are you getting on, Josh?
I'm doing pretty good, not too bad. What about you? You doing good?
It's been a while. I know that we had advertised the second episode quite a while ago, but we are actually back this time. So look, it got pretty full on with our leaving cert, and then our leaving cert got cancelled. so that happened.
So we actually had a full episode recorded. We actually have the topics that we did have last time. We had COVID-19, Faulkner, all that kind of stuff. And we had everything recorded, and then the main topic, we didn't record.
It just didn't come through, and plus it probably just wouldn't be as relevant to upload that now after like 3 months. So guys,
I remember in the last recording that we done, the COVID-19 update. That was very different from what we have now.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the mad thing about it, is that like it just keeps changing, like consistently changing. It's like it's totally different one week to the next, even just down to numbers. It's ridiculous.
I was so baffled by it.
Yeah, so right guys, here are our topics anyway. Off the top, we have 3 off the top topics, and that's going to be an update for COVID-19 in Ireland. We're going to talk a little bit about America, but we're not going to go into too much detail for fear of saying the wrong thing. And the SpellShaw Studios overhaul. So anybody who has been following anything to do with SpellShaw Studios and the brand, there's been a lot happening over the last 3 or 4 days. So we will explain that to you. And then our main topic today is going to be COVID-19 and the effect it has on the movie industry. So will we hop in and chat?
Yeah, so about COVID now. So right now is it the phases have ended, or they're just beginning? Like it's like
we're
midway. We're in the middle. Midway. So it's beginning to everything's starting to open up again.
Exactly, like they're easing. The restrictions are easing, but like we had, it was initially 5 phases that would have brought us up to what, middle of August, I think it was. Yeah, but they've changed that now because the numbers for the first phase were so good apparently that now we only have 4, and it brings us to like mid to late July, and then we're out of lockdown.
So when I was looking at Leo Varadkar's speech and stuff like that when he did ease the restrictions.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd done this just to basically say, yeah, you guys can all fuck yourself, and I'm gonna do whatever I want before I'm not you know?
Before you're not sick anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I doubt it. I just think because he is a doctor. Although I'm not. I put it this way: I quite was happy with how he was doing things for a good while, and then I realized he was quoting Lord of the Rings, and now I'm not sure how much credibility he has.
No wonder it was good. It's Lord of the Rings.
No, look. In fairness to the chap, you have to hand it to him. I don't know him, but like he was placed in power of the country in probably one of the most impossible times ever. So, yeah, I don't know. For me, I think it's just that people actually adhere to the rules, and that surprised me. I didn't think that was going to happen. Although I do think that now that he's eased the restrictions, I think people are going to start taking the piss, and I think we could see like a change. Yeah, the numbers go up. Like so far, like here in Wexford, so far the numbers seem pretty good. But then like you have to wonder is how accurate are those numbers, because it says that there's no cases in Wexford, but that's just that there's been no cases diagnosed. How do you know that Johnny up the road there in Enniscorthy doesn't have the virus, but he doesn't have symptoms? You know that sort of way. So it's
I didn't know Johnny had the virus.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like, what do you think about the whole easing restrictions? Do you think that they should have?
Yeah, I know which way you're going with it, but I think people would be like ill still, like that it'll still go around, and then numbers would go up eventually if it was like that. So I think if people are still doing like their bit and staying inside, not doing dumb shit basically, I think everything would be. I think everything should be fine from there.
I hope so. I'm looking at is it New Zealand or the Netherlands? One of them
New Zealand.
shut the country. New Zealand. They shut the country the minute there was wind of the virus, and they're only coming out of lockdown now, and they don't have any cases. They've had no cases, no deaths, and we're looking at the rest of us plonkers, walking around with COVID-19. Can I interest you in some COVID-19? There's a throwback for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so look, the restrictions are easing. You're now allowed, I think it's like 5 or 6 people indoors, I think, something along those lines. And you're allowed to, originally we had it that you couldn't go anywhere further than 5 kilometers. They've now upped it to kind of 2 statements that you can't go anywhere further than 20 kilometers, but it's actually all right if you go just as long as you stay within your county. So that's what they're saying at the moment. Like what... I don't know, like, do you think that maybe they're being overcautious? Do you think that they're not being cautious enough? Like, if you were running the place, what would you do?
So, I think the way they're going about it, open up this early, is kind of a good thing, because if you look at America, they're already opened up a lot of things, and they have way more deaths and everything than us, you know?
Yeah.
So, I think what we're doing is kind of pretty good, if you know what I mean. Like it can never be perfect. There's always going to be some cases of it, but
and this is they're saying that we're like it could be something that is just going to be around, you know, for the next long time. The only thing that worries me is the fact that there's no vaccine, you know, because it's like the flu is here, you have to live with it, and that's fine. And I've had flu once before, and by God, I never want to get it again. But it's a little bit different in that there is no actual treatment for it, and there's no injection that you can get that should stop you getting it. So it makes me wonder how things are going to look. You know, like in 6 months' time, are we still going to be social distancing? You know, that sort of way.
Yeah, I think that in 6 months' time, everything is going to start like easing up a lot more. Like we're going to be able to go back busking. We're going to be able to do that's when everything's going to start to go back to normal.
What we do
Yeah,
but
I really hope
then
so.
Next year I feel like it's going to have the same thing, the exact same thing's going to happen where we're not prepared. I think right now they don't have a vaccine, but I think by next year they will.
Now, this is the interesting thing. If you, I was chatting about this with my family, and if you compare, say, coronavirus to the Spanish flu, say, right, just in terms of a situation like this, right? The Spanish flu came with its first wave. The same thing happened. It hit them, took them by surprise, and then the first wave, I think it killed like 5 to 10 million or something along those lines. But it was lower than the second wave. But they all had to do what they had to do to protect against the virus. In the second wave, when it came back again, which they predicted, it killed over 50 million people, and that's. Like, you would wonder, like, is that down to, like, do you think if coronavirus came back again, do you think we'd have the same vigilance? It was like this time we all had to lock ourselves indoors, and for the most part, most people did. I know, you know, other countries had questionable methods. There was even things that our country did that I questioned, but for the most part, everybody locked themselves inside and said, right, we're going to stay, we're not going to do anything. But if it came back again next year, it does make me wonder, would it be a bit more lenient, and would that put us more at risk? You know, it's something to think about. Like,
I think by next year we will have some sort of vaccine for it. I know that, like, when the Spanish flu was around, that's a whole different thing. We didn't have the technology or medicine to do any of that, like to check that. I think that's the main reason why they had so many deaths. They weren't prepared for it, and they had nothing to fight against it, really.
Yeah, that's very true. It was a very different time. And they are, like, I've heard things online, people saying that there's like estimations of a vaccine coming somewhere between January and March next year. So that would be, or that they're aiming for that, you know, like that would be good if that's what it came to. I just hope that it all goes well, really. Right, with that, And out of the way, we'll hop on to what I have listed here as America Now, which sounds like a hip 80s morning show. um,
So
it's an interesting situation, isn't it?
yeah, it's a sad situation and it's serious. So it's something that a lot of people have requested me to talk about on like social media, and I try to refrain from it. Mostly because I don't have the knowledge or capability to have an input on it, you know. So from what I know, it was a young father named George Floyd. He was placed. He was detained and placed in handcuffs. But while he was placed in handcuffs, there was an officer. He was kneeling on the guy's neck. He was screaming, "I can't breathe," and stuff like that. It's very graphic. There's a video online.
I wasn't able to. I watched up to the point when he started screaming, "I can't," or trying to scream, "I can't breathe," and I had to turn it off.
It's very graphic, and everybody is saying that the police have no remorse, and the police are trained to like kneel on you, but not on your neck. Like they're trained to kneel on your shoulder or your upper back, so you can't.
But the thing is, you know, is that's in a situation of resistance, right? And just from my perspective, and like you, I've avoided having any. I put up the black square on Instagram out of respect, but I didn't feel qualified I didn't feel like I was the right person to give any kind of opinion. I didn't feel I had that right, and I still don't feel I do. But the only thing I would have to take note of is the fact that just from a standpoint of training and protocol, that sort of action should only be taken if there is resistance and they have sufficient motive that they need to arrest somebody. So fine, you need to arrest them. If they resist, fine, you need to take action. Don't kneel on their neck, but follow your training. But maybe I watched it wrong, or so, I don't know, and I'm trying hard to stay as impartial as possible, but also as empathetic as possible, but it looked to me that he did not resist at all. He just let them do what they had to do.
He was an unarmed black man, not resisting. He was fully compliant, and he had his neck pressed up against the ground for 9 minutes.
And his life stolen probably. Yeah, like... look, with regards to the movement, I think it's a very important and wonderful movement, and I think it's long.
I think it's good that we're having it now, rather than later down the line, where we have something worse happen.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like, part of me wonders, you know, it's a very big and important movement, and it is extremely necessary, and it does need to happen. But then there's another part of me going, in the middle of the crisis, is it the right time for it? But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, it kind of is, because it doesn't, like, at least this way, in the middle of a global crisis, this happens, and people show that they don't care what's going on in the world, they're still going to fight for what's right, and it might actually open some eyes.
It's like that 2020 is like the year of just everything being woken up for, like everything's trying to wake us up.
Yeah,
you know, like we have the pandemic, and then we have World War III nearly started. This, it's like goddamn.
Yeah, and it's ironic the fact that we've spent such a large portion of 2020 stuck inside, and yet so much has actually happened when you think about it. Like, personally in our own lives, we may not have had much happen in our own lives, but when you look at the actual events of the year, from like Australia to Iran to COVID-19 to this, it's a crazy year.
Yeah.
But in some senses, you'd wonder, is it just a write-off? Because none of us are going to do anything. Like, there's going to be no travel. Like, it's such a strange situation.
Yeah, it's all to do with the American government systems, all that kind of stuff. I don't really want to get into it, but
yeah, I think the same. I think I know people want it acknowledged, but I think that's the best that we can do is acknowledge it. Personally, I don't feel like I'm the right person to give that sort of talk.
Yeah, I know the police, the Minneapolis council, they banned chokeholds, and they required police to intervene against the use of excessive force by their officers. So I'm pretty sure now you're not allowed to touch someone's neck if you're putting them on the ground, doing anything like that.
Good.
So at least now they're kind of understanding what they need to do.
Yeah, exactly. Right, with that down, we're going to pop on over really quickly to our last off the top piece of information here. And that's just to give you guys a bit of an explanation over what's been going on with regards to the brand over the last 3 or 4 days. I call it the SpellShaw Studios overhaul. So there's a couple of new things in place. One is that anything regarding movies that's connected to me or any of the other guys is going to go through the SpellShaw Studios social media pages, because now we have a team running the whole show. A team of 5 people that consists of myself, Josh, Abby Beale, Jordan Feely, and Nick Siemlis. So what do we have? We have a website now, which went live yesterday, and I'm pretty happy with the website.
For the website, by the way.
Yeah, links will be, and yeah, I look, I know that it's pretty exciting just from my own standpoint, but I am buzzed after making the website. It is pretty cool to be able to flick the website.
Yeah, that's like me, because I play a lot of GTA, or like GTA RP, and I have my own website in that, so I'm like, oh yeah, I love this shit. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty hyped over it.
I've never had my own website before. I tried to make one years ago, but I was like 12 and didn't know what I was doing. So another thing that's new is we have an app. So I know like a lot of people may not want to access the website from their phones and may not have access to a laptop in the same way that I do, but to make the website. But if you are interested in getting access to the stuff that the website is going to offer, or the stuff that the SpellShaw Studios brand is going to offer, there's now an app that should be going live very soon. It's currently pending, and it has been for about 3 hours, but we'll see how that goes. But it allows you access to a few different things. So when you go into the main menu, you have the option to enter the studio, or you have the option to go to the video library, or you have the option to access the Artist Avenue podcast. The Artist Avenue podcast section will list every episode for playback, so you can click the episodes and you can play back the episodes of Artist Avenue podcasts. If you go into the video library, we have a list of our films, the trailers for the films, and links to the actual films online, or descriptions of films that are coming. Because at the moment we only have Sing to Me and The Voyager out, but we've got Fatherland coming next year, and we have a few other short films coming later this year. And then if you click go to studio or enter the studio, that'll take you to I've downloaded the website into the app, so it's become the app as well. So the website itself is now the app too, so you can access it that way, and it's all from the comfort of one little app on your phone at the click of a button. So it's really, really handy.
And is this going to be available on iOS and Android, or just Android or just iOS?
Currently it's just Android, and I'm trying to roll it out to iOS as soon as I can, but at the moment it's just Android. For those of you who are on iOS, you can do and access all the same things that you can access on the app, but you just have to do it from the website. But I'll have it on Apple as soon as I possibly can. So what can you do with, or like, what's the purpose of this? Well, for one, is that as a brand, we're going to start offering some things that you guys can do with us. So I put it up. I'm going to click over to the website here so I can properly talk about it. So when you go into the website, you have a multitude of pages on the website. And if you go down to join the studio, right, it explains the main thing that you can do with us, right, that you can pay for us with it, and it's a very low price as well. So if you have a script or a story idea or a film or anything along those lines that you want to do with regards to making a film or a short film or anything like that, you can do it with us. You can make your film with us under our brand, and what's better is, and the best part of it is, we will help you. So you can get help with your script writing for free. So you can email or you can fill out the form, and if you just need help with script writing, one of the team members will arrange a call with you, or some sort of correspondence with you to aid you in your script writing and your storytelling. If you want to make a film with us, we will give you the advice for free for how to go about making the film. I don't have this listed on the website, but if you need, team members to come and help you make the film, that can be talked about as well. For editing, if your film is under half an hour, we charge you €30 and we will edit the film for you. If the film is under an hour, it's €40. If it's an hour and 30 minutes, we charge €50. If it's 2 hours, it's €60, and so on and so forth. It's up to tenner every half hour. It won't really go above 3 hours, I can't imagine, but we will edit the film and prep it for you. If you want us to advertise the film for you, we'll release trailers for €5 per trailer, or you can do a deal of €12 for 3 trailers. So that's the main. Oh, and if you want to do a whole premiere launch night, you can pay. It's €200 for us, because it is a team that will organize it. So it's not just going to me. Everybody will be getting an equal cut. So €200 over 5 people isn't a lot. But and then the cost of the launch venue. Now, just for clarification, that doesn't mean we're taking the same cost of the launch venue. That means you're giving the money to us, and we're going to pay the venue. So that way, you have a venue and you have a nice, good launch night. So yeah, have you got anything you want to add with regards to the website and the brand and the overhaul and the changes and the team?
Just if you do use the, we're trying to expand as much as we can with the whole SpellShaw Studios thing. So
Yeah.
the whole point of this is it's all trial and error. If something that does go wrong down the line, it's we've all trying to we're just all trying to experiment with all this. You know, it's not really a thing that's guaranteed always gonna work, but
Yeah.
I know that if you use our team, we have such good chemistry with each other, and I know all of us are hardworking, so we're all pretty good with working with each other, and we're all hard at work whenever we do work. So.
And the cool thing about it is that like each of us have something different to add to the table. Like Jordan Feely, if you guys go in, you can see a list of everybody on the team. But Jordan Feely is one of our team members, and he's a writer and very good at writing. So his job is going to be one of his main jobs will be to fill out articles and advertise stuff on the news page and the blog and stuff like that. And he'll write movie reviews and stuff like that. And he'll do interviews and stuff that will be written like a newspaper. So that'll be pretty cool. Nick's cinematography and direction, incredible, so like each of us has something else to bring to the table, and I think that's why it can be very beneficial if you're looking to start making your short films or your films and you don't know where to start. Well, I would recommend the first place you start is SpellShaw Studios.
Yeah, it's a good starter off if you're ever wanting to just experiment yourselves with the whole making a movie, doing some script writing, all that kind of stuff, because we will give him our inputs and help you out with that. We do have a lot of experience with script writing, and I know at least Luke, myself, and Nix, we have editing. We're all pretty good at like editing and stuff like that. We all have experience in that. We all have different types of backgrounds as well, so we all kind of know what we're doing.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I think lastly as well, just if you guys notice any bugs on the website or the app, you can contact us. There's a contact section for you to email us through a little form, and you can tell us what you noticed or anything that you think maybe should be added to the website or added to the app, or things that you'd like to see in the future, all of that, or any bugs that you notice on how to fix them, that sort of thing. You can let us know through that. Okay, I think that pretty much clears up our off the tops. Do you?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good off the top. We've had a roller coaster of emotions, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we'll move on to our main topic discussion. This got sent in today into the website, and I don't know who sent it in, so but somebody sent in this recommendation that we talk about the movie industry and the effect of COVID-19. I'm going to be a bit broader on that and just talk about the filming industry. So that's like television shows, Hollywood, soaps, anything, us, we're going to talk heavily about us and how it's affected us. But yeah, it's really interesting because like I watch it's kind of like a podcast, but if it's video, but a chat show thing, a YouTuber called John Cambia, and his is a whole thing about movie news and stuff, and they're talking about it, and they're saying that Hollywood are starting to reopen and they're starting to get back to shooting movies now. And it's interesting because a lot of people have reserves about that. Like some people are saying that it's too soon and that it's not safe to be doing that, and other people are saying, well, it is safe. And then you're looking at like cinemas like AMC are starting to reopen, and Tenet is coming out as the first film of the reopened cinemas. It's but like you've got like a handful of people on the left saying don't. Sorry, I'm not going to go political here. A handful of people on one side going, don't open up, don't start shooting, don't do this, it's dangerous, it's not safe, it's a health risk. And you've got other people going, well, it needs to start at some point, follow the rules and you should be fine. And then you've got people in the middle going, I don't know what the fuck to think.
Yeah.
Like, where would you start? Do you think that it's too soon to start getting back into all this? Do you think they should wait? Do you think they should start up years ago?
It depends what type of movie it is, first of all. Because if it's a romantic movie, you're going to have people kissing, all that kind of stuff. And that could potentially be very dangerous.
Yeah.
With the whole COVID. So I think right now what the movie industry needs to do is just hold back a bit and try to I'd like to see a lot more action movies, personally. But
see, this is the thing.
Hold up until next year.
Yeah. It's interesting because you look like my kind of thing is that like if you're looking at like a film franchise like Avengers where there's like so many hundreds of people on set. And they all have to be in close contact, and they're connected to this wire who's holding this, and this guy's beside him, and this green screen is here, but he needs to operate that, and there's so many people so close together all the time, and interacting and in those environments. I think that's a health risk. But then you look at kind of smaller budget films. I think it's okay for smaller films that are a bit more simple, less people on set that can be limited. Even I know for us, we've been talking for the last few weeks about how we're going to start getting back to shooting.
Yeah. And we decided July, didn't we?
Yeah, we decided it's July, but that was only over the weekend that we decided that. We were initially going
a couple of days ago.
Yeah. See, we were looking at the stuff for like the phases and all, and it was looking like it would be very feasible for us to go back in August. But I wanted to go back in July, but I was too afraid of risking it, and people seemed happy enough to go back. But there is high risk people, so we decided to wait. But when they announced the phases and restrictions moving quicker, we were like, okay, we'll do July.
Yeah, and even though it is in July, we are taking precautions as well. We all are having a hand sanitizer and face mask on set. If we can, have gloves whenever we can. Just make sure we're social distancing, even if we're not on, if we're not on camera. We try to social distance, try to stay away from people, basically.
There's a certain actress, but there's two actresses, or maybe an actor and an actress, I can't remember, but they have a scene, and there are people within the project that are high risk. So we've decided that we would, for the scenes of the person that's high risk, that person will get to social distance in their scene, because it's not necessary for them to be close to any other actors for their shots. Everybody else is fine. So it's like if you're in a scene, you won't need to social distance, but if you're behind the camera, you will have to social distance, and anybody who's behind the scenes and not in a scene has to wear a face mask and has to try and we're going to limit our set as well to like have as few people on set as possible at any given time.
And I'm pretty sure, have you announced yet about the whole character stuff?
About the actor switch, yeah. So I had been toying around with the idea for quite a while, because after doing Sing to Me, I didn't really want to do. I didn't want to lead whole film as writer, director, and main actor, because it's a lot of work, and editor. It's really heavy and it's taxing. But I do want to be in it, so I was toying with who and how I would get somebody else to play the lead for Fatherland, and I could take a back step. And I ended up chatting with Jack Morris, who was playing Steve, and we switched roles. So I'm playing a smaller role now, he's playing the lead, and we did a little online line read, table read, and his portrayal just knocked me out of the park. So
yeah,
I'm very excited.
Just letting the audience know, Steve is the boss of the main character.
Yeah, they work together. Yeah. So it'll be a lot of fun to portray that.
It'll be strange seeing you get to step back a bit and do your thing as a director.
It'll be happy days for me though, because I think as Steve, I'm only going to be in 4 scenes or 3 scenes in a 2.5-hour film. So I'm going to have a lot of room to breathe, and I'm going to be really able to focus in on directing and things where I need to put them and stuff, which will come in handy. Because like you remember me over saying to me like that was difficult trying to act and direct all at once.
And then when you got to the editing, you were stressed out, and then trying to study. You know, it's all just hectic. But at least now, once you once you're done your scenes, even you can start piecing things together, starting to get it edited as you're going along.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, look, I'm really excited for us to start. We have it's written on the website, but we have it listed that we're going to start shooting hopefully on the 24th of July, which is in about 4 or 5 weeks. And we're very excited about that. We're going to get in. We're shooting. I think we're shooting 6 scenes on our first day, and the plan that we have is to shoot really, really quickly. This is another thing that I did is I've organized each scene into locations so that way we can shoot the film as fast as possible. So that way we don't have to be on set for very long. So yeah, it's like it's bad because even just a small production, a small indie film production like ours, and a small indie brand. COVID has had a pretty profound impact. Yeah,
I know when we first were talking about COVID, what was happening was we weren't even doing Fatherland. We were just toying around with the idea of Fatherland. It was when me and you were going up to see William Shatner. We were talking about Fatherland in the cafe, and we had like a little sit down, just brainstorming about what Fatherland could be, and we decided that due to COVID and stuff like that, it'll be better to film Fatherland. It'll be a bit more
it's easier as a project. Well, you don't have to shoot 2 back to back. Like
it'll just be easier for everybody anyway.
Yeah, and I do think ultimately it's worked out for the best, because can you imagine trying to do hunting now after everything that's happened?
Oh, I don't think... Yeah, that wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah. Like, we will get to it, and I know a lot of people have been asking because a lot of people seem really excited by the story, but it just wouldn't be feasible for us to film that right now. But we will get to it eventually. But I have to say, I do think people are going to really love Fatherland. Like, I'm so excited for this.
This story is probably my favorite story that I've seen so far.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's more relatable, it's a bit darker, and it's a lot more nitty gritty,
Yeah, and it's a seriously emotional film, and just like, I suppose, a heads up for people who are following us and stuff. This film deals with a couple of pretty serious topics. There's one serious mental health topic that's dealt with towards the end of the film. With regards to characters who have thought about taking their own lives. So the film is very dark and it's not really a family movie, we'll put it that way. But it's not a big action horror fest either. It's a very heavy emotional drama. And
I wouldn't call it like. So I called saying to me like, what was that, PG? Right? That was PG.
Yeah,
this one is probably going to be like 16s maybe.
Yes, 15, 16s.
Yeah, something like that. Because there's some heavy hitting stuff. From what, like, I've read the script, it's very, very heavy hitting in some parts of the story.
Yeah. Now, look, there's lighthearted moments, like the relationship between the main character and his best friend is quite funny. One of the things that I love about this script, I think, and I think it's just down to the fact that it's longer. And I took more time in this script to develop the characters than I think I did in Sing to Me. And even just down to their relationships and their dynamics, there's more of it, and there's more. You buy into their relationships more, I think, even just from reading the script. And our cast is so good. We really do have a great cast. I'm so excited for this. Like, Jack is wonderful. Haley is just fabulous. It's really going to be great.
Yeah, it's a lot of new faces on this cast.
Yeah, no, the only two I put up on the website, a few people have noticed it, but Aerie Farrell is coming back to play a role, but she's playing a very brief cameo. She's playing a very small role, and she's also letting us use her house for filming. But other than that, me and Jordan are the only two actors coming back from Sing to Me this time round. Just we had a lot of people interested in stuff as well, so it was cool. I actually think that it was easier for me to get a cast this time around because people, I suppose, knew that we were going to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas I think there was a lot of speculation as to whether or not it would ever actually go ahead when we were doing Sing to Me. It was like, oh, will they actually get done?
I'm just looking at the website. I'm looking at Jack's hair. God.
Yeah, it's shorter now.
Yeah, it's short. I'm like, I forgot about about this haircut. But
there'll be an updated photo soon.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully we can get a full like a cast sit down and table read throughout the whole script, and then maybe we can get like once everything's shot, we'll have a full cast sit down and watch it, just to let everybody experience it, you know?
Yeah, that's my plan. I also want to do, have you ever seen those variety videos on YouTube where they interview the cast of films? Like they did it for X-Men.
Yeah.
It's like the web's most searched questions. But I was thinking, and I've had a chat with a couple of people about doing this, that once we get Fatherland shot and we've released a trailer or 2 trailers or something like that, we do a video like that. We get people sending questions, and then we'll have the cast sit down and just answer the questions and have a bit of crack.
Yeah, like a big Q&A. We'll all sit there in a line with a white background. I love those types of videos. They're pretty cool.
Right, okay. I think that pretty much wraps us up for episode 2. Again, episode 2 was just me and Josh, but the next episode that we're going to have next week is going to feature our very first guest, and you guys can look forward to seeing or hearing. Aoife Rees is going to be joining us next week to talk about her movies, Dear Naomi, Candid, and her future projects, and all of her life endeavors. She's a really, really wonderful human being, and I've had the pleasure of coming to know her in the last year, and I'm just so impressed by the work that she's doing, and it's a real honor to know her, so I'm very excited about that. Do you have anything you want to add before we wrap this up and head off?
Just basically, don't forget to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Check out Luke's channel and check out my channel on YouTube. They're all on the SpellShaw Studios website, so if you want to check that out, the link to the SpellShaw Studios website would also be in the description of the YouTube videos and stuff like that too.
Yeah, and you guys will be able to access all of that as well. Check out the website, check out the app as soon as it's live. I will be putting out some sort of announcement, so make sure to follow all of our social medias, and we'll see you guys next week for episode 3.
See you guys in the next one.
Bye.